Hi, I'm Representative Al Baldessaro, and we're back, and this is the show, Who's Looking Out for You, with my beautiful co-host, Representative Jeanine Nodder.
Hey, Al.
How are you?
I'm
It's
good.
always a pleasure. It seems like we were just together at the State House.
Yeah, we were. That was a few hours ago,
Yeah,
yes.
a few hours ago. I was there for the Veterans Subcommittee on the Commissioner, okay, which are going to come forward with legislation.
Yeah.
And then you were there on some other stuff there, press conference.
There was a press
and-
conference, and I learned that there was a subcommittee on that bill to rename Columbus Day, and my seatmate in the House, he was leading it, and he killed it. So we're going to keep Columbus Day.
Oh, good.
I'm like,
Yeah,
yes.
I actually spoke against that and went in the committee, Indigenous Day. So I was so glad there because they put it into a study, rather than cause problems there. But I'm just glad you went there and they killed it. Awesome.
Yeah.
But anyways, we got a special guest today.
We do, the guy in the bow tie.
Yeah, you want to introduce him? I think you were a Navy corpsman. I think Navy. I can't remember.
I've known
You know?
JP Marzullo for a number of years,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
trying to think, well, how did I meet I don't know, this small state, and we're all in politics together, and we all know each other, but it's been so long, I don't know how we all know
JP
each
with the
other.
Liberty House, the homeless veteran shelter.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. What do you do over there? I mean, you're on the
Liberty
board.
House. In
Yeah, I'm
Manchester.
chairman of the board. I just got elected about 2 months ago. And I spend 2 or 3 days there when I get a chance to, but mostly I'm out in the community trying to raise our profile so people know what we do and who we are. And fundraising is basically what my main job is, to try to get more money for the House, to try to look at some other possibilities. I think we need a veterans center for those people that have left the House successfully, but we'd like to keep that core community together somehow, and I think that may be our next step.
Now, are they going into the VASH program? Any of them?
VASH.
It's a
VASH.
veteran. Yeah, VASH veterans. I don't even know what it's.
I don't know
It's
the-
it's a homeless veterans program. It's called VASH. Don't ask me what the acronym stands for, but it's at the VA.
It's at the VA.
Yeah, where they run this program with homeless veterans and get them in apartments. Greg Carson, who is the director of HUD, does a great job. He's got us over 285 homeless veterans, these vouchers
Right.
to get them into apartments.
Right.
And
So the difference, I'll answer that 2 ways. We don't take any federal funding.
right,
So if we have an opportunity, we can steer them to those services at the VA hospital, and also to other services in the community, like the Farnham Center, like any of the drug rehab centers, any of the alcohol treatment centers.
Right.
We basically steer our residents toward them. But we don't, because we don't take federal funding, we have a different set of rules, if you will.
Now, what I'd like them to do is explain, now I know why, but explain to people, because here in Londonderry, we have a great support. Matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, I gotta go pick up some furniture from one of the senior citizens here in Londonderry to bring over to the Liberty House for somebody, an apartment.
Right.
But anyways,
Yeah.
explain
So where
to
do you
them,
take things?
why don't you take federal money?
Okay, well, HUD's a really good program for people, so it's not against any other program. We don't take any federal funding because then we'd have to follow the rules of the government. So what does that mean? It means that we would have to take people who are still addicted to either alcohol or drugs or addicted to whatever, and that changes the dynamics in our home. Because what we're trying to do is, it's a transitional home, you know that.
Right, yeah.
And we try to transition our residents back into the community so they're productive citizens of the community. That's the main goal. So they come to our facility, they know right up front that we have zero tolerance for drugs, and we do random drug testing. If we find there is a problem, we actually discharge them. We take them to a hotel. We don't just throw them back out in the city.
Right.
Take them to a hotel, and within 48 hours, they have everything out of our home.
No, where is Liberty House? I know it's in Manchester,
Yep,
but
on 75 West Baker Street, which is right near the housing there, the sort of community housing there. It's at the end of Elm Street, if you will, south end of Elm Street. There's a church there, and a school, and just past there, that's
It's
Baker
beautiful.
Street.
I mean, they've done a great job over there.
I know I did a show on Liberty House a long
Yeah,
time
the
ago
house
in
is
Merrimack.
From the 30s, so
Right.
we've got some real challenges there now. We've had to spend a fair amount of money on the electricity, updating some other things, so there's a lot of things that we would have to do there to
So-
keep it in good shape.
How many beds are there?
We have, well, that's a good question. We have 10 residents. We only have 5 bedrooms.
Oh.
So we have bunk beds for these guys, which makes it a little tough. Especially as you get a little older, we ask a guy like me trying to get in the upper bunk, it would not be easy to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's how we operate right now. Most of the guys are only there from 3 months to a year. Very seldom do we get anybody to go the full year. And what we do at that point then is we find them a job first. And we're fortunate to have some great people in the community that are helping us. A Navy commander, John Roller, who owns a company called Express Professionals in Manchester, who recently gave us a large donation, places our homeless veterans for free. He doesn't charge us for it. That's
Awesome.
a great help.
Mhm.
Once we find them a job and they're starting to make some money, we then look for housing for them, someplace to live. We take 50% of what they make after they do things like they have some payments they have to make, maybe some court payments they
Right.
still have to make, some child commitments they have to do. We take that 50% and put it in a savings account for them, so that when they're ready to move on, they have something in a savings account.
That's awesome.
To either pay for their first month's rent,
Right.
or maybe buy an inexpensive car or whatever. So that's how we do it. So that's
Wow.
basically our goal, is to get these guys back in the community working.
But you also have a food pantry there downstairs in the basement. And I noticed quite a few times I've been in and out of there, that I see a lot of other veterans coming in and out that don't actually stay there.
Right.
So you're actually supporting the homeless also. And
Yeah, so we've actually moved that basement pantry now into the garage. So we've redone the bottom of the garage, where upstairs, if you remember, they just had clothing.
Right.
So we put a garage door in, like a regular garage door, rather than, doing it another way. So we have a regular door there now instead of the garage door. And we've redone that whole area, Al, and that's where our food pantry is now. So it's given us more space, easier access, and not as dangerous. I don't know whether you ever went in the basement.
Oh, I've been in the basement,
But you know how
yes, yeah.
dangerous that
Oh, yeah,
is,
gotta
going down
ducking
there.
down to get down.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
So
yes.
somebody my height, it's not a problem.
Or me,
So
yeah.
are you, right?
I know.
I've had to duck a little bit to get
Every,
out.
every
So-
year I see veterans outside of the grocery store
Yep.
looking for food donations, and every time I see them there, I buy a case of Dinty Moore stew.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we're blessed to have people in the community help us, because since we don't take federal funding, we have to totally rely on.
So what do you need? I remember a long time ago when I did a show on Liberty House, they were
Yeah.
asking for things like towels and.
So the needs change. If you go on to libertyhousenh.org, there'll be a needs list there. And it changes, it's seasonal. So like now, we're putting out all the summer stuff that we have, like clothing
Right, yes.
and food. In the winter, we need different types of food. We need more protein food. We need it all year round, actually, but peanut butter, tuna fish, canned ham, canned meat in general, and certainly toiletries. So those things are pretty much needed all year
Yeah,
round.
shaving, I know
Yeah.
shaving items. And
Yeah,
things
so
like
like
Yeah.
that.
Gillette
Socks.
brought us 20 boxes of razors and shaving cream, big boxes.
Right, that's awesome.
So
I remember there was one year that you needed TVs, and then there was one year where I had a bunch of TVs to get rid of, but they didn't need them anymore.
So the way we're handling that now, because it becomes a storage problem.
Right.
We
Yeah,
have
that
a lot
was
of
the-
people that want to give us furniture, for instance. We don't have the storage space,
Right.
place to put it, so we have to actually rent storage space if we want to keep it.
And
Now-
that takes resources away
yeah, it
from
takes
the
money away
veterans that
from
need it.
us.
Okay.
Well, you could gear them too over to the VA, because they have these Conex boxes over there
Yep.
run by Tracy, can't think of Tracy's last name, with the VAS VASH program.
Yep.
So, and they would store furniture and stuff over there
Oh, yeah, I
if you
didn't
don't
know
have
that.
place,
So we
Tracy
do,
Noonan, that's her last name.
Okay.
From Auburn.
well, it's good to know that. You know that. Probably the girls at our house know that.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
our operations manager and our caseworker, I'm sure they know that. But as far as serving other communities, veterans, I was very upset when they plowed down the homeless camp recently in the city of
I
Right.
Manchester.
saw that, yeah.
Because we actually have veterans down there who don't want to live in the house. They're still addicted, and they want to live in a camp. They don't
Right.
want to, they don't want to live in that community.
And they threw everything away, just
Well,
in the trash.
The thing that really upset me was they they didn't brag about it, but they said, we just threw all these tents out and all this food.
Wow.
Guess where they came from? They
Came
came
from
from
you
the
guys,
people that
right.
gave us those for Liberty House. We gave them to the veterans. They had no plan, and to my knowledge, to do anything. They just decided.
Who did that? The new mayor?
The new mayor.
The
yeah.
new mayor got the police, state
Democrat.
police involved. Some of the community members, even people I know that own businesses, were kind of in favor of it because they were arguing, well, you don't want that in your community. Well, have a plan then. Have a plan. Help
That's
these
right.
people
Help
out.
them, yeah. And,
Yeah.
And I met some of the veterans. Some of them just don't want no help from the government.
Exactly.
They want, they don't mind taking help from local organizations, churches, Liberty House and other harbor homes in Nashua.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and I understand that.
Right.
But what they did to them over there without no knowledge,
horrible.
notice, nothing.
Where'd they go? Do you know?
They're on the street now. See, this was the thing. The argument was to get them off the homeless off the street. That didn't get them off the
No,
street. So
they
what
took
my
everything they
concern
own
is,
away.
They're just going to keep moving them around.
Right.
That's all they're going to do.
And everyone, not in my backyard,
So they freeze to
mentality.
death.
Exactly.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had a question for you. Do you know Bob Williams? He's a veteran.
I'm not
I think
sure.
he was connected with Liberty House years ago.
Yeah.
He started the candlelight vigil in the park,
Oh, okay.
Veterans Park in
Yep.
Manchester.
I know
so
about that.
it's the first Wednesday of every
Yeah.
month at
Yes.
7 p.m.
Yep.
I haven't heard from. I get a Christmas card every year, but I haven't seen
Yeah, I
him in a
haven't
while.
heard from him in a long time either. I know
Yeah.
Bob.
I think I saw
Yeah,
him at,
there's a lot
at a
of
store
Right.
one time.
community
And you
people.
could, yeah, and you
The
could
Nom Nights. Yeah.
They're not, well, the Nom Nights do a lot for us as
right.
well.
Patriot Guard,
There's Patriot
yeah, they're
Guard,
over
I
there.
mean, Sweeney Post in Manchester.
Right.
Bobby Berneski.
Yep, the VFW Post are doing a lot for us too, so we've got a lot of support there. It's just, it's a continuing battle though.
Do you know it was
Really
here
is.
in Londonderry, in 2016, got a check presented to me for $100,000
I know this.
Wow.
for the Liberty House from
From who?
Donald Trump.
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
President Trump,
I added the Liberty House's name
Yeah.
on the roster there for the groups to get money
good
from.
job,
the-
Al.
yeah,
Yeah.
great job, and I'll tell you what was even more impressive to me was that we got a call from the person handling his campaign at the time, the president's campaign, and he said, look, and a local person that we all know.
Right.
Oh,
And he
I
said,
wonder who you mean.
Yeah, Corey.
and he said, I'd like to have Eric Trump would like to come by to present the check to you at Liberty House.
Wow.
And he said, but we don't want anybody to know about it. It was the same week that, it was the end of the primaries. It was that week when they were
Right.
voting. And so Eric Trump came by, spent about an hour with us in residence.
Right.
And he handed, we talked
Well, I'm
about
the one that
check.
took the check, yeah.
I know you did. You brought the
Yeah,
check.
I brought
But
the
it was
check.
great that he
Yeah.
came by, and Al, we can't thank you enough for
Yeah,
that.
that's- I was hoping you guys invested into a bigger building or, where you can take on more veterans.
Yeah, so ask the question. What'd you do with the money?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it had to go toward the building we're in now. Had to do some work with the building. We have transportation issues, cars and things. Our budget's about a little over $400,000 a year, but we figured it out. It's about $120 per hour to keep that building open. So there's a lot of expense there. But to your point, right, you were saying you'd like to see us get a bigger place. We just want more of these.
Right.
We want to keep the template the same, Al, because it works. It's like a
Right,
house.
yeah.
Big Italian families, 10 people in a house isn't unusual, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to do it. So the template works. They feel like it's part of the family. We're working with a couple of people right now to open up one on the seacoast. And we're also looking at property now in the Manchester area to have a vet center so that we could still have 10 people in a house, but have a center where they can come, whether they're currently in the house or whether they just left. They can come and shoot the breeze with their buddies, watch TV, play ping pong, whatever. And so that's what we're working on now. It's probably 2 years down the road. I continue to add new members to the board that are pretty well known in the community. Jess Edwards, Representative
Right,
Jess
Jess is a
Edwards.
great guy.
I'm trying to get more
He's a retired Army colonel, Lieutenant Colonel.
Yep,
Yeah.
Army Lieutenant Colonel. Wayne Lesperance, who is the Dean of Undergraduate Study at New England College, just joined the board, and I have 2 other veterans that are ready to come on the board now, too. So I think it's
Awesome.
important.
I was on the board when they first started, but they did
Years
nothing.
ago.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah.
do
What
it.
year
They
did
did
they
nothing.
open?
What's that?
What year did they open?
10 years ago.
It's been 10 years. Okay. Yeah. I
So
thought I
that's the
remember the
point.
beginning.
Al. We still have some of those same people left. There's only 2 left on the board now. When I came in, I think people were a little concerned that I was going to move fast, and I'm not sure
Right.
they liked that idea. But I want to just say this, and I'm going to say this to you, into your face, because we've gone over this before. I'm not a veteran.
Oh, I always,
You always- and-
I always think that
and I'll tell you why.
because you do so much for the veteran
And
community.
thank you. And I'm honored when you call
Yeah.
me brother.
I
I'm-
always,
I'm-
for some reason, I always think of him as a veteran because he's always there helping veterans.
So let me tell you how that happened. I'll do this quickly. We lived in Annapolis, Maryland for 14 years before we moved up here. And my wife and I became sponsors of midshipmen from the Naval
Oh,
Academy.
awesome.
They lived at our home. They were like our family members.
And you have a bulldog that
And I have a
identifies
bulldog.
Oh,
the
yeah,
military.
and your bulldog
Bulldog.
wears a bow
Bulldog.
tie as well.
Yeah.
I tried to join the Marines out of high school, so that was really where I
Right.
was headed. My dad was in World War II. He
Oh,
fought in
mine
the
too.
Philippines, New Guinea, really
I
tough
always make that mistake.
situation. That's okay, though. And I always try to remember to
Right.
tell you that,
Yeah,
no,
I
because I
forget.
don't want people to think that I'm trying to say I'm what I'm not.
The reason is you do more for the veteran community than some of the veterans I know.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And that's why I always think that you're a veteran because you're out there everywhere I'm at
Thank
on
you.
veterans functions or meetings. You're there.
Yeah, thank you, and I'm honored to do it.
Yeah.
Al, you guys serve your way, I'm trying to serve my way.
No, I hear
And
you.
I'll always do that, and it's a great opportunity for me. You know, I've been in politics, as you know, before,
Yep.
and this is the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
That's awesome. Another thing, I don't know if you knew, about 5, 6 years ago, they had problems with the roof over there, and they couldn't get any money, any support, to fix the roof. Greg Carson got the word. Greg's a retired army.
And he's the
and his
married
wife
to
is
Senator Sharon Carson.
Carson. He found out about what was going on. Next thing you know, he got $50,000 from HUD.
I didn't know this.
And they came in. I was there when they presented the check
Wow.
there to fix the roof and do some other work over there.
I think we've only stopped taking HUD money for about the last 3 or 4
Yeah,
years. So before we did, but it made it difficult to transition our veterans.
Right.
And the thought of the board, I wasn't on the board then. I've only been on not quite 2 years
Right.
now. The thinking was we don't want to take that money because then we have to follow the rules
Right.
that makes it hard to get guys back into the community. We do take advantage of things, though. We push our veterans toward services that are provided by the VA hospital, by
Right.
these other organizations. The issue we have, Al, as you probably know, is not all our veterans they're less than dishonorably discharged.
Right.
So that they can't even take advantage of the VA, some of the VA
Right.
things because of that.
But
So-
there's mental,
Yeah.
I understand, I read something here, there's on mental health.
Yep,
There's some help that's there for dishonorable discharge
Yes.
veterans there.
yes.
But other things, there's not.
Right, and we're trying to get, we're trying to find out what those things are. I don't know as well certainly as the people that are in the House.
Right.
They do a great job. We have a great new director that's been there not quite a year yet. He's a policy guy. He's
Jeff, he
put
does a
things-
great job.
Yeah, he's put things in place that were kind of shaky, honestly, in the past, but we're getting there. And, we'll continue to do this stuff.
Wow.
And we're,
How many veterans people do you support a day at that
He
home?
said 10.
No,
10
no,
residents.
no,
Oh.
no, no. He knows where I'm going
Yeah, I
because
do know.
when I'm there, I see more and more veterans coming in and out.
yeah.
That they're feeding. So it's not even though they got 10 beds. How many?
So it's over 100 a
over
week.
100 a week.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So
Wow.
here's the other thing too. We changed, and Jeff did this, and I thank him for this. We had a little bit of mission drift where we were serving a lot of homeless people,
Right.
not just veterans. And our mission statement
Yeah, I've
is to
seen
take
some
care of
single
homeless
mothers.
veterans. But veterans are the most gracious guys and women because if a homeless person comes to the door with a little kid looking for food, they're not going to turn him away.
Right.
But we had to focus more on our veterans. So now we have hours and they no longer come in the house. If you're not a veteran, you don't come in the
Good,
house
yeah.
anymore. You go around the back and you pick your stuff up there. We have a list like this for homeless people. We have a list like this for veterans. And so now they come into the house. So there was one particular veteran when I first started who would come in there. He was homeless, but he bushy hair. He'd sit in the chair and rock and not say 2 words to anybody, to no one. Once we got it straight so that there's only veterans coming in now, he comes in every day for a cup of coffee, get some pastry, and he's talking to people.
That's awesome.
Because
He's
they're her
opening,
brothers.
he's opening up.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
you know, they're brothers in there, and they understand each
Yeah.
other, and it's, so that's what we've done. But yeah, we service a lot of people.
You know, I've dealt with veterans throughout the country. As you know, I would travel around
Yeah.
with Donald Trump on
Yeah.
helped write the
Excellent.
Veterans Plan. I met so many veterans, you're right, with PTSD. They don't want to deal with nobody but a veteran.
Right.
And even the Desert Storm or the Iraqi veterans don't want to get in conversation with the Vietnam veterans because there's two different worlds,
They
two
are.
different
Yeah.
wars.
Absolutely.
And I seen that, and I'm saying, wow, we're all in the same boat together, just different battles.
Yeah, no,
You
exactly.
know,
I
but
mean,
it's weird how that is.
As you know, I spent almost 40 years in healthcare, and most of my
right.
calls were made on veterans hospitals. So like you, I've seen a lot of it around too, but you hit it right on the
Yeah.
nail right on the head. They don't want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to tell you, in case you didn't know, but you probably already do. Last week we did a show with the man who ran President Trump's ground campaign from start to finish, and I learned on last week's show that Al helped write the Veterans Plan for the Trump administration.
Yeah, I know we did.
Yeah, matter of fact, Corey.
It's not out there that much, but we know
Yeah,
what this guy's
but,
doing.
But,
Yeah.
but Donald Trump. Well, I don't toot my horn on
Right.
this stuff there. I just
Well, that's
make
why I
it
tweeted
happen.
it for you,
Yeah, I
'cause
don't
we're
even-
proud of you.
I'm invited Monday at the. I'm going to be at the VA Monday at 10 o'clock or 10:30
new,
with the governor.
Yeah.
Okay, to sign a bill. I co-sponsored SB 488, but I also sponsored my own bill to where the VA can use civilian hospitals.
Yep.
You know, like the
That's
Elliott
We've been trying to
CMC.
do that for years, my
Yeah.
freshman term in the House.
And
was.
they're using their operating rooms, so the governor's got, we're making it permanent. The governor's gonna sign the
Nice.
bill at the VA on Monday.
Are they going to have a card? I remember us having
Well,
this
the card-
discussion 8 years
The
ago.
choice program is just still in the works, the choice two. So that program, once that goes up, then it's gonna be a better system.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I spoke out about several times, was
Mm-hmm.
that choice should mean you could go anywhere you want to go
Right.
without the government being involved.
If you're on welfare, you can go anywhere you want.
That's right.
Or if you're illegal.
But but
Yeah.
veterans, to stop them from going anywhere.
That's right.
They should have the same services that I have or you have, and get that kind of care. And the fact that we're able to do it in New Hampshire now at Catholic Medical Center and the Elliott is great. I mean, I think that's terrific. And it's going to be a great.
Yeah,
thing
and the
going forward.
Frisbee.
Yep.
Matter of fact, Al
Oh,
Montoya.
I know Al,
Yeah, he just sent me a message there that they're working on one hospital up
Frisbee.
north. Yeah,
Frisbee,
well, they
yeah.
already got the Frisbee.
Right.
Those are three that they contract with. But they're working on another one up north, you know, so White River Junction surgeons can be involved,
Yeah.
you know?
So Dartmouth, of course, is involved with that program at White River Junction.
Right.
So that's really good.
No,
I know you're saying Frisbee, and I'm thinking you don't mean Frisbee.
Yeah,
In- in
Frisbee.
the
Throw
hospital.
for your
Yeah, the
dog.
Frisbee Hospital out there, I think that's near Portsmouth or somewhere.
It's out- yeah, it's on
out
the
in that area, on the seacoast there. But what most people don't know, we have clinics scattered throughout the state. They call them sea boxes.
Yes, right.
And we have about 7 of them.
Yeah.
And they're veteran-run through the VA. So they don't have to go into the VA to go see a doctor.
Yeah,
you know?
see, that's the point. You brought up a good point there, because they're clinics. The VA hospital really is a clinic.
Urgent
here
care
in
center.
Manchester.
Right.
But to have these outreach programs for clinics is great, but guess what? They still need treatment at hospitals.
That's
I
right.
think my pastor is the chaplain there at the VA.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you
Oh,
know
okay.
him? Father Tom
There's a few
Steinmetz?
chaplains that come in and out of there at the little
Yeah.
chaplain room they got there. But you know, another thing, what you just said here on the service here, a lot of the veterans will go, if they're having a heart attack or something, will go to the VA.
Or if they're Al Baldessaro, they drive themselves to the hospital.
Well, and the
He did
reason why
that.
I'm saying, yeah, but see, I'm 100% covered because a lot of people don't realize I have a lot of medical issues. I
Right.
take 7 medications, morning, 8 at night. You know, 2 heart attacks, stent put in, mesh shoulder muscles, arthritis in my hands, my pelvis. I have Desert Storm syndrome. I can go on and on with the issues I got, digestive. But anyways, I use the VA because how will I know there's an issue if I don't use the VA? And I have full coverage insurance.
Right.
I just had an operation 3 months ago on
On
my
your
throat.
throat,
Yeah,
I
to
know that.
remove a cyst. But the thing is, you're doing the right thing because you're getting the veterans into the VA system, right?
Yes.
Most of them that you can.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
one tough Marine right here.
And
Oh, yeah.
what do you do with veterans, let's say, the dishonorable discharge? You have facilities out there or get them on Medicaid expansion?
So Medicaid is one of the things that they will take advantage of. So,
Right.
yeah, and so that's why every time this Medicaid expansion bill comes up
Ah.
and people discuss it, it's kind of a
But
rocky place.
they would still qualify if we get rid of Medicaid expansion, because that's costing the government,
Yeah.
New Hampshire, millions of
Lots of money.
dollars. We have Medicaid.
Yeah, and that's
Unsustainable.
what
They would qualify for Medicaid.
Yeah, they still qualify
Right,
for Medicaid.
yeah.
So to answer your question, we find places that will be able to service them.
Mm-hmm.
So we use a lot of the state facilities. I mean, Veterans Count, Easter Seals helps us
Right.
with that too. So although we're not taking any funding from them, they're really very
They
good
do a
with
great
us.
job, yeah.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Yeah.
And so we all work together. I mean, we all have the same goal, right?
Right.
And so that's what we do. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm impressed with what you guys do over there. Even Harbor Homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know what during Thanksgiving, I have friends of mine, Middlesex Police Department, and they get donations. They're part of the Marine Corps League and the Limbs Association. I met them at a function in Derry, and I was telling them about Liberty House. Wouldn't you know, 2 weeks later, on a Saturday, they called me up, Al, we got some gifts for Liberty House.
Nice.
I said, can you meet us? I said, yeah, I'll meet you over there. They gave a check for $5,000. They brought in all sorts of food and clothes and everything
And on
else.
Thanksgiving, you guys brought.
I brought-
You called me and said, I got
Yeah,
turkeys
I
for
delivered,
you
yeah,
guys.
I think
Did you have room
7,
for them?
8 turkeys.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
did you have to eat them
No,
on the
well, we
spot?
had to eat them, but not.
Yeah,
but
I
no,
delivered,
we
yeah,
brought
about
five.
7, I think, turkeys there, 10 of them at Harbor Homes, and then I had like 4 or 5 I delivered over to the Reserve Center
Oh,
for the
nice.
young military guys that with families,
Yeah.
you know?
So in the last 2 minutes, again, the contact information
It's
and
libertyhousenh.org.
and you can navigate the site easily to
Yeah,
find
it's easy,
what
it's
they.
easy to find. There's a needs list on there. It talks about events. We have a softball game tomorrow night. that
Right,
the
I'll be there.
Yeah, let's talk
Yep.
about
Are
that
holding
there.
for us.
How much did we end up raising last year?
A little over 10,000, and we're about the same place this year.
Oh,
we're
wow.
Okay,
a little
so the people watching this show here understand, the Democrats played the House members of the Republicans. Last year was the first year we did this, and Liberty House raised over 10,000.
For us.
I just heard today from Dick Hinsett where we may be up over 12 grand.
nice.
Okay, so it's looking pretty
We'll
good
take
there.
it. It all
So,
counts. And, it's
and the
all
Republicans
thankful.
won the first, game there. So
I
we're
heard it was a
hoping to win
slaughter.
tomorrow night, and I'll be
Yeah.
playing tomorrow.
Good.
I'll be
take about-
watching.
Looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing you.
I'll take about
I'll be
4
spectator.
Tylenol before the game. You know what I mean? But anyways, is there a phone number over there too that you can give out that somebody can call
you know,
over there? And
I think, I don't know the phone number off the
Yeah,
top of my head, to
okay.
be honest with you, but it's on the site too.
it's on the site there
Yeah,
to
you
call,
can find
because
it
some
there.
people don't like dealing with sites. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying they want to be able to call over
I have the
and
phone number in my
and
pocket.
say that
You
you know.
can leave it at the end or something. but-
Yeah,
we can
that-
add it in and
that
put it on
way
the
we-
bottom
we
of the
can-
I have
screen.
phone
We can
number,
add
just
it
don't
in here.
memorize. You
Yeah.
know, that's the problem, we don't memorize any numbers anymore.
No,
We
we
look at our
don't.
phones,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I know. I left my phone one day, and I'm like, I don't know my kids' numbers, so I had to borrow
Well, we got
somebody's.
31 seconds here. I know on the August, what's the date here? Blues Festival, Saturday, August 25th. This is a fundraiser going to be for the disabled veterans. So keep that in mind, watch that on TV. What do you think? Great guest?
Oh, he's
JP?
always a good guest.
Thank
JP,
you.
it's an
Thanks
honor.
so much to have us here,
And,
sir.
you know,
Appreciate
It's a long reach, but
Yeah,
there
long
we go.
reach. And
it. Thanks a lot.
Jeanine and I are so motivated about being back. And we'll see you next time on Who's Looking Out for You.